Hey everybody, back with another video, and like most things, I wasn't planning on filming a video, but I get into something like this Centipede cabinet and then something is interesting to me, or I find something out that I want to share. So anyway, I have completely torn everything out of the Centipede cabinet and have some work to do on putting everything back together, but it's completely cleaned out, vacuumed, blown out, and stuff like that. So one of the things I did was the trackballs were in terrible shape, so I took off the control panel, and that's what we're going to go to the bench and look at. I have soaked the bearings and the trackballs. Actually, I'll go to the bench and explain. Okay, so again, I wasn't going to film anything. I had taken out the trackballs, and I have previously, a long time ago, bought some replacement, I think from ArcadeShop, new rollers and bearings from ArcadeShop. But when I've done a couple trackball games, and I'm pretty sure that I've done these balls before as well. But basically, I took apart the rollers, and you can see the wear mark on there. But I've seen much worse. Like, this is a good wear mark, but I've seen it where it's been worn so deep where you would never use these rollers again. But I thought maybe these could be saved and reused and keep it original. So I soaked it in like Evaporust. I lightly sanded it. I haven't done a great job. I haven't spent hours on this thing by any means, but just soaked it in Evaporust overnight, washed it, sanded it, and then and I'll probably use some brake cleaner or something and clean the parts one more time. These balls were originally somewhat yellow, but because of being exposed to sunlight, they're still probably uneven a little bit, but I wet sanded with 400 grit sandpaper and then used some Novus 2 to get them smooth, and it's good enough for me. I mean, again, not something that's like a professional job by any means. The colors are slightly different between the two balls. It's not completely the same. But I didn't want to do too much, because if you do too much, I think you'll take all of the yellow away from the ball, and it'll just make it white. And I didn't want to do that. Let's see. So I did that. I could tell that these trackball cases were torn apart. I washed them, but this is what the normal screw looks like. And then it was missing some screws, and then one of these screws was in there too. So I knew these trackballs had been taken apart before, and when I started looking at the bearings, and I'll link to an interesting thread on Klov maybe about this too, these look like unsealed bearings, and they seem to be original, obviously. And then I have some of these where looks like there's a seal at least on one side. See, on that one there's two sides, and it says it's I don't know if you can see that, but it's P4 ZZ or something like that bearing. But this one here is unsealed on one side. It looks like, at least I assume that's what it looks like when it's unsealed. And then there's a seal on the other side. And when I was experimenting with these bearings and like just cleaning them up and drying them off, I discovered maybe a way that you can test these bearings. So one thing, here I'll pause. Okay, so I had also soaked these in Evaporust as well. And for the ones that had some light rust, I did some light sanding around the edges, the ones that had, that looked like they needed it. It's still, like this one here, you can see has it could actually use some more sanding probably. It's got a little bit of a tick on the outside there. Not completely smooth on the outside. I could actually probably sand this one a little bit more. But why would I just not use the real, the original or the replacement bearings? So I checked a couple of these out. This one here has a seal on one side, open on the other, and I just put it on here and spun it with my finger, and it just spins super easy, right? I can almost feel a little bit of the catching and grabbing on it, but not much. And here's one that I think is somewhat bad. Hopefully you can see this okay. it doesn't spin very long at all. It almost comes to a complete stop after a few revolutions, right? And what I saw was I was using some compressed air to blow dry these and get some of the water and stuff from cleaning them out. And when I would blow it, you can see that this bearing's spinning pretty freely. And if I go to this bearing here, now this only works for the ones that aren't sealed, obviously. I can't get it to barely move at all with my compressed air. So that got me to thinking that that might be an interesting way to test these bearings, especially if they're not sealed, is just blow them. And if they spin freely, they're probably going to be working okay. Now this one, you kind of have to get the... See, that one's not spinning as freely, so maybe I put that into the need some work or replace areas. And that one was spinning freely. So that, and just maybe giving it a quick turn, and if it goes around just a couple revolutions, then you know it's probably not good. Whereas that one's spinning pretty freely, just with the same amount of friction there. So what I figured I'd do is go ahead, I might soak these in some carb cleaner or brake cleaner again to clean them out. I'm going to oil them all with 3-in-1 oil and put it back together, but I'm going to keep the bad bearings that I think might be bad on one trackball and the ones I think are good on another trackball. And if I have to use the new bearings, I will, but I'll only do it on one of the trackballs. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully this is interesting to somebody. And I'm not going to replace these. I'm just going to keep it factory and see if since my Centipede cocktail has 2 trackballs, we'll be able to compare and contrast maybe in the video, see which one, if I do end up using the new stuff. Alright, be back in a little bit. Alright, so I retested all of these again, and the ones over here on the right easily pass my little spin test and my air test here. So that thing spins very easy, and it's pretty easy for me to get it to spin with just air, like that. This one too, and this one, hopefully. Yeah, they all kind of spin easy, and these over here are a little bit more difficult to get the spin with the air. Like that one looks like it's spinning pretty good, but not great with the air test. Whoops, let me try this one. That one I can just hear it not spinning very well. A little bit, and I can barely get it to go with just the air. So same way with this one here. This one I think is really bad. It stops pretty easily with the hand test. And I can't get it to go at all with the air. So these 4 right here I'm thinking are not great, and these we can save. I'm going to go ahead and spray. Should I spray them again? Yeah, I'm going to spray these again with some brake cleaner. Should I do that? Yeah. And then 3-in-1 oil them, and then reassemble these balls real quick. Alright, so I'm not claiming to be an expert or anything. I'll link to a thread with more intelligent people who are commenting on this, but I'm just putting, I cleaned it with some brake cleaner. I'm just going to put like 4 drops of oil on each side. Now, I can tell that these 2, at least this had to have been worked on before. It's missing screws, obviously, and it has different kinds of bearings in there. So that's why I assumed that it had worked before, some work had been done on it. The other thing is I'm grouping the worn rollers together, so you can tell the difference between which one was player 1 and which one was player 2. Maybe not from the camera, but this one's definitely much more worn than this one up on top. So the least amount of worn one that I can tell from my hand I'm actually putting in player 2 and the more worn one player 1. So anyway, I just wanted to show, I'm just, you know, doing, hopefully I can do this on a camera. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if that's the right amount or not, but that's what I'm doing. And again, I am no expert. I'm kind of just thought this would be interesting, so I figured I'd film it. Okay, so I have everything lubed up, and I got to be honest, with the oil, some of these, they're obviously not spinning as freely as they once did. Hopefully I can show you that. Like, it's not going as well, but I know these are the good ones over here on the side. If I hold everything at this proper angle here, I mean, it's definitely smooth, but with the oil, there's obviously some additional weight, so it's not going to do a free spin like we were able to do with the air gun. I mean, the air, compressed air. So all of these look pretty good. And even a couple of these, like these, I think I separated these. This one I can feel it, that it's not, something's just not right. I can feel it in there with the bearings. Doesn't feel great. That one barely spins at all. So I know these two are not in great shape. But these, after oiling them and cleaning them again with the brake cleaner, they feel just as good as these other ones on the right. This one's actually a little even more free spinning, I think, than the ones over there. So let me do one from a new one with no treatment at all from ArcadeShop. And I've used the ArcadeShop stuff before, I think in my Missile Command. I mean, that thing is spinning forever now, compared to these that I've just re-oiled. This one's even, hopefully you can see that. So it almost seems like these are better, the new ones, than these after I oiled them. See, these are stopping a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to continue the experiment here. Rebuild or refurbish, I guess. Or clean and refurbish versus a complete rebuild kit. All right. Number one is put back together. I mean, it's not spinning forever, but this is the one that was the worst off. And I bet this is fine. I mean, I don't know if we need to spend the money on a rebuild kit here, but we won't know until we put it in the game, which might be much later. But to me, it's rolling pretty good. Definitely much better than, I wish I did it before, because this was just a, you know, crunchy, Captain Crunch sounding thing on both rollers when I was trying to do it in the game before I disassembled it. They had never been taken out and rebuilt probably thoroughly. So even the little bit I did, soaking it in evaporust and stuff, has definitely helped. So I'm going to put the other one back together and we'll see. We'll do a comparison. All right, number 2 is built back. Now I did label this one. I labeled number 2, which has the quote. I don't know if they're worse off bearings or not, but definitely the worse off rollers. And so I assume that this was originally player 1. But it feels pretty decent to me, and this was probably originally player 2 based off of the wear of the rollers. But, and I don't know about the bearings. Seems pretty good. I also checked the alignment here and just made sure that these weren't, you know, wobbling too much. The encoder wheels weren't too warped or anything, or bent. And if I did, I just kind of slightly bent them back, so I didn't show that. But it feels much better compared to what it was. The other thing is, let's see here, I only have about 6 original screws. If you can see this here real quick. So I used 3 in the other one, and these 3 are not original, and I'm not putting them back in the system to assemble these. So I need to find 3 more of these based off of the Phillips. And I actually have a tool. Let me actually grab it. Alright, getting back to this, it's actually been, since I cut to this part right here, it's been December to August, so 8 months basically. And I said that in a different video where I'm working on the Centipede, but what I'm going to do is just show you how I use this thing to troubleshoot, to figure out what size I needed. So I actually also looked it up in the documentation, but it should be a number 8, which is right there. There's a number 8 right there, and you just stick it in, and it kind of goes in. It's too big for a 10, so it's got to be 8. And you want to make sure it's how big it is, so I kind of hold it like this, and that's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. So that's 3/8 from the pan head right there. So it's 3/8, number 8, and then we want to figure out what the thread pitch is, because this is plastic that we're screwing these into, and you definitely don't want to strip it, obviously, because it's already been cut. These are cutting screws here, and so it says United States thread pitch, and what you do is you kind of just, let's see, the number is below it, so this is like a number 18 here, and I kind of just put the threads right on top of the other threads and see if I can get it in there and see which one matches up like that. So you can see that the threads are right in the grooves, in between the grooves. And if you come up one, it's not quite the same. It's not lined up. So this is the right one, I think. It's a thread pitch of 16. So 16 threads per inch. And that's the easy way to do it, is just slide it right into those grooves. So what did I say, 16? Yeah, 16. So I ordered these things off of Amazon right here. Bring it up to the camera so you can see it. That's what I ordered off of Amazon. Maybe I'll link to it in the post. And here they are together. Look pretty darn close. So I think I did measure it right. My handy stainless, Stainlesstown, I think is coming in handy here, because that looks pretty darn close. It's a pan head, 3/8 inch, and I could actually replace all of them, but before I screwed that thing in, I had these in the game and I was messing with them, and this one, which was player number 2, which is the better of them, it feels pretty good. It's not very noisy or anything. This one is the worst of the 2. Doesn't sound quite as good. And so what I'm going to do is actually, where the heck I am going to use this kit. I'm going to put this kit into this one that's labeled number 2, and I'm going to stick this on player 1 actually, and stick this one, which was originally player 2, back into player 2. So that's what I'm going to do. Just let's see, which one am I'm keeping this one. Okay, so when you put these screws back in, what you want to do is kind of go backwards, like go to the left first until you hear a click. Or there we go. And then you can screw it back in, and you're not going to misthread it. And so I only had 3. 1, 2, 3. And whoever had taken this apart before actually used the wrong screws, so hopefully we don't have to rethread them. You might have to. But it's good. It's nice and tight in there, so I think those screws are going to work. So I'm going to do that to all these and put this back in, and then I'm going to replace the bearings and the rollers on that one right there. That's more. Alright, I got it set up in there. It definitely feels really nice. I mean, oh, whoops. But anyway, some noise in the background. But I'm going to put that together. All new bearings from ArcadeShop. And this one I just put OG on this one. Just it's all original. But I think this one's good too. But we'll see. I don't put this one in player 1. And this one, the OG one, in player 2, and then we'll compare. Alright, I can already tell the difference. This is the one with the reproduction rollers. I mean, and this one does not spin as easily. Now, I did put 3-in-1 oil on the bearings on this one. It was spinning more freely without the 3-in-1 oil, and I did not do anything. Some people break these bearings in from ArcadeShop. I didn't do anything to them. I didn't oil them. I didn't do anything. And it definitely is spinning a lot more freely than this. Now, maybe I should have oiled them. I don't know. You guys can comment and let me know. But I'm going to put this in player 1. This one in player 2. Okay, I have the ArcadeShop roller and bearings in player 1. And it is just, that thing just is spinning like crazy. And I did not do 3-in-1 oil like I just said. So I'm going to wrap up this video, but I don't even think I'm going to play. I played it, not live for you guys. I played a game real quick. And this one definitely, I mean, both of them seem to work fine. And I can play fine with them. This is the other one. But you can tell it definitely is not spinning as freely. And I don't know if that's because of the 3-in-1 oil or what. I don't know if I can even make a good verdict because I don't know what a good centipede ball should actually feel like. If this is what it should feel like with a little bit of resistance, or if it should be free spinning like the ArcadeShop. So I don't know. So let me know your thoughts, I guess. I mean, I don't think I had to get the replacements. I could play the game by just refurbishing them, but it definitely seems like it's way smoother and better with the replacement bearings and whatever you call the other things, the rollers and bearings. So that's it, guys. I just did another video of repairing the PCBs, and I played a game and stuff like that. I'll link to that video, but that video interrupted this video or whatever with the rollers. So I just wanted to share the roller thing, I guess. So leave some comments if you guys say like, yeah, you need to go replace the other rollers or whatever, or no, you don't, or yes, you should 3-in-1 oil. I couldn't leave well enough alone, so I knew I had an extra set of ArcadeShop reproduction rollers and stuff. So I took out the OG one that was not spinning as well, and we're just going to do it. And I'll do it right here with you guys. Hopefully you can keep my hands out of the way. And I'm going to oil these with 3-in-1 oil, if I can find my 3-in-1 oil. I know I have it somewhere. But yeah, I just couldn't leave well enough alone. I need to know if the oil makes the difference or what makes the difference. And since I have it, I might as well refurbish this one with new rollers as well. I'm working around this damn camera. Shouldn't take me too long, actually. Alright, there's the ball. Take out these bad boys. Yeah, I can see there's a little bit of oil, like, from the 3-in-1 oil. Actually, I need to pause and get the oil out, but... Well, before I oil them, actually, I'll put it... I guess I can't do that, can I? We're just going to have to use our reference. I got to go oil them, and then we're going to use our other ball spin as the reference. Alright, so these are sealed bearings, so I don't even know... See if you can... if they take oil, there's one drop, 2, 3. I don't know. I mean, does it actually soak in there? There's 1, 2, 3. I think it says 3 drops of oil. Kind of messy. You know, the Atari manual does say 3-in-1 oil. I think the thread I linked to, I think others might use something else, but it just seems like super messy. Need to get the encoder wheels off. Oh, need to put the damn bearing on first. One more. I'm not good at talking and doing things at the same time. It's like tapping your foot, stomping your foot or whatever, rubbing your stomach, all that. Stopping your foot, tapping your head, rubbing your stomach. Probably why I should stick to doing this stuff off camera. Alright, so we got that. And put the ball in. Get our encoder wheels. There we go. Good to go. And then just obviously put these back in. I took all the old screws. All the old screws are in this one. and then I put 6 new screws in the other one, player 1. So let me get this back in the cabinet, and then we'll see how it, well, actually, I guess we could test it real quick. Still not as, yeah, the oil is definitely changing the behavior for sure. Oil is definitely changing the behavior, but it still spins, I think, more freely than the ones I refurbished. Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to definitely hear the difference in the cabinet. One more time. So this non-oiled spins forever. All right, and this one is now got reproduction arcade shop. Definitely a lot quieter, but still spins a lot better than the other one did. So I would say definitely probably worth doing reproduction rollers, and maybe the rollers made the difference. Maybe it's the bearings. I don't know. I'm not going to try all the variables, I guess. But I guess I'm going to have to take this one apart and oil the bearings, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to do it in this video, but that just sounds too noisy, doesn't it? Alright, leave your comments. I'm not going to play a game. I was thinking about like switching back and forth to player 1 and player 2 and see which one I score better with, but that won't mean jack diddly. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. Leave a comment what you think. Should I put oil on this or not?